Hey ski moms, spring break is just around the corner. Are you dreaming of sunny beach days or snowy mountain adventures? Whether you're craving sand or snow, we've got you covered. That's why we're teaming up with Vrbo to help you find the perfect family-friendly getaway. Vrbo makes vacation planning easy with private rentals designed for families and friends, offering everything from oceanfront escapes to slope-side chalets. Here's why we love Vrbo. There's space to spread out. Ski and beach trips come with a lot of gear, and Vrbo offers spacious homes so everyone can relax comfortably. The perfect location, from stunning beachfront properties to ski in, ski out mountain retreats. And privacy. There's no shared spaces or awkward host encounters. And top-notch amenities. Think gourmet kitchens, game rooms, hot tubs, and fire pits. And peace of mind. Vrbo's Book with Confidence guarantee includes 24/7 support and rebooking assistance if plans change. Spring break will be here before you know it. Start planning now. Download the Vrbo app or visit vrbo.com to find the perfect home for your trip. And be sure to follow us. We'll be sharing some of our favorite ski properties to inspire your next getaway. Let's make this spring break unforgettable. Welcome to Season 4 of the Ski Moms Podcast. We're your hosts, Nicole and Sarah.
We want to take a moment to remind you about the Ski Moms discount page on the skimoms.co website. We've collaborated with our favorite brands to bring you a ton of money-saving deals. For instance, we have a special link for Ski Butlers for 20% off your family's gear rentals. Ski Butlers delivers your rentals right to the living room of your condo or rental home or the lobby of your hotel, saving you hours of time. You'll never have to wait in a long rental store line at the base of the mountain again. When you use our links and codes, you not only save a bundle, you're also sending a message to the brands about the purchasing power of the Ski Moms. Head to www.theskimoms.co/discounts to take advantage of these special offers. Today, the Ski Moms are visiting one of our favorite places virtually. That is Okemo Mountain in Vermont. We're going to be talking to Abigail Stone, Abby, as we're going to call her, about her site. It is called Unofficial Okemo, and she is going to help us trip plan the ultimate family trip to Okemo with some undiscovered gems. And we are so grateful to have you. Welcome, Abby.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here. This is really cool for me to turn what was just a hobby into a business and now be here with you two. And I've heard so much about you two working in the, creative marketing field of skiing. So I am fangirling right now.
We are as well, and we're still trying to turn this into a business, but it really feels like play every time that we get on one of these podcasts, which means we must be doing something right. We love, love, love Okemo. Whenever there's a race series there, we both raise our hands to volunteer and go and bring snacks for the racers. There's something about Ludlow. It's really authentic, and it really feels like a town that added a mountain as opposed to the other way around. Do you know any of the history of how it started?
You know what? I'm a transplant. So I grew up in Rhode Island and I moved to Ludlow in 2017 after college. So I'm not the best resource for that, but my co-owner, Noah Schmidt, he definitely would know the answers to that. He's lived in Ludlow his entire life. I do know that at one point the town was a big resource with that. We had a mill in town, which is still there, which are now condominiums. There were a lot of these factories that were producing very niche items like toothpick and things like that. It definitely has always had a community here. And what started out as just a town that was kind of something you would kind of drive through and there would be, resources and factories, like I said. But once people kind of realized that Okemo, the mountain, could become this great skiing opportunity, I think that's when everything turned for this little mighty town. So it's really cool to see how the ski industry helped what would have just been a drive-through town on 103.
And Nicole and I also always volunteer because there's a Dunkin' Donuts there. And that is our favorite place to stop. A little hard to get in and out of that little parking lot there, but there's not one near where we are in Vermont. So that we always make a stop there. But I'd love to step back. And I think you went to University of Vermont and you said you grew up in Rhode Island. Tell us a little bit about your ski origin story.
Yeah, so I grew up in a ski family. Both my parents grew up skiing, but what's really cool about my background with skiing is that it all started with my grandparents. So my mom's parents, they were co-owners of a really small ski resort, which you may know now as Magic. And so what still exists on what we call the backside is Timber Ridge. And so my grandparents with some friends, they decided to open up a ski mountain. So they put in the lifts, they cut trails, they built the lodge. My mom lived right at the base, and that was what they would do on the weekends. So she'd come up from Connecticut with her three siblings on the back of the van, and they'd stop for milk on their way up. And they would ski at Timber Ridge all weekend. And my mom was a ski instructor there, which is where she actually got my name. She taught a little girl named Abby. So she said, Abby, I will name my daughter after you someday. And here's the prophecy. That's how skiing became such a big part of my mom's life. And then when she had kids and she met my dad, we're definitely having ski kids. So me and my brother, we are skiers. Skiing is what we've always done together as a family for vacations. And it's a really, really special thing that we all do together.
Abby, we had no idea you were from skiing royalty. Oh my goodness. We love Magic Mountain, of course. Well, that makes a ton of sense. And maybe we'll do a follow-up on Magic. It's an independent resort in Vermont. It is beloved in the community. And we don't want to digress too much on that because we're here to talk about Okemo. But when you learned to ski, do you even remember learning to ski, or you were one of those kids who was just on skis and it's a blur?
Oh my gosh, I remember learning how to ski. I hated skiing. I would do everything I possibly could to try to get away from the ski group. Have a very vivid memory of skiing at Killington, which is funny because now I live just 15 minutes down the road. So kind of full circle. But I remember a moment of going up on the gondola with my ski group. My ski instructor looked like Santa Claus. So I was part shocked that he was Santa teaching me how to ski, and also truly afraid that it was Santa teaching me how to ski. And I was convinced that he was going to take me down a black diamond when I wasn't ready. And so I remember seeing my parents, which now being older, I realized they were stalking our ski group like parents do. And I caught an eye of them and I was like, I'm leaving. And I went and chased my parents down and begged them to sit in the lodge for the rest of the day and eat some French fries. So, but then something changed. And I think once I started skiing with my brother and my cousins who are the same age as me, we grew up skiing together as well. And the four of us, we spent so much time together cruising around Waterville Valley, which is really what I call my home mountain. But now that I've been in Ludlow, Okemo is definitely my home mountain now. But so I mean, my parents they wouldn't even see us on the weekends. My brother and my cousins, we would get up for the first shuttle that would come around to our condo. We'd jump on. We'd have no money. We'd eat ketchup and saltines for lunch. We would ski all day. And then we would take the last possible shuttle home. We'd be home in pitch black. And they'd be like, "How was your day?" We'd be like, "It was great." And then we go play Guitar Hero 3 for, 6 hours. That's all my ski memories is all at Waterville Valley. So I'm very lucky that I was able to experience different ski mountains.
I think the quote may be the saltines and ketchup, though. I don't want to discount that. I do love that it's, some of these smaller mountains give kids the ability to explore like that and have independence. And, as parents, we really value that unplugged time of exploring. I think it's great for kids' brains. I think it's great for their development. And it's really happy to hear that you had that kind of childhood. How did you end up in Ludlow and being such a fan of Okemo? Tell us a little bit about how you've kind of set up your work life now and how you got there.
Yeah, so I ended up here seriously on a whim. When I graduated from the University of Vermont in 2017, I was working as a graphic designer for the Boston Beer Company. And then some things changed with my position. I was looking for a new job. And my then boyfriend, now husband, Danny, he was looking for jobs for me one day, and he was like, "Hey, what about this marketing coordinator position at Okemo? What do you think of that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll apply to it." And I was like, "I don't know what Okemo was." I think I even pronounced it Okemo, which is now a huge issue for me. Everyone, it is Okemo. At the time, I never heard of Ludlow, never heard of Okemo. I really had no idea what I was getting into. My husband and I we came down for my job interview. We were living in Burlington at the time. And the first place we stopped at was the Maple Creamy place, the Green Mountain Sugar House, which if you come to Ludlow and Okemo, you know about this. This is the spot for creamies. We stopped. It was in the fall. We looked out over the water. It sits on Lake Pauline. We were like, wow, this place rules. Like, this could be our place. We went to my interview. I knew I got the job after the interview, feeling really good about it. My husband's like, well, I guess I'll go and see if I could get a job. So he got a position doing snowmaking, which is truly the craziest job you can do at a ski resort, in my opinion, next to teaching kids how to ski, probably. And we just kind of felt like this is it. So we stopped at a local real estate company, Diamond Realty, who's now one of the realtors there. Frank is now a good friend of ours, but at the time he was just this random guy that we said, "Hey, we think we're gonna move here. Do you have a place for us? Like, where can we stay?" And he hooked us up, and I heard the next day. It was very quick. Got the job, moved here, packed up our life. We were here in like 3 days. We brought our dog and in a U-Haul of really, it was just our couch and our mattress. At the time, we were living in a one bedroom, didn't have a lot, and yeah, we ended up here. And the full circle moment is where I am now in my home that we purchased in 2021 is actually across the lake from the Maple Creamy place. Everything just seems to align, and I think we were meant to be here. And I say it all the time, but this is the greatest place to live. It has everything you need. It is the perfect mixture of a small city and a small town. The community it's fantastic. I'm on the board with the Ludlow Farmers Market. I sit on boards as the recording secretary for the Development Review Board for our town and also the Planning Commission. So I love to be really involved in our local government and kind of see what's going on and pay attention to changes that happen. And that's where, we're making real change for our lives. And I don't think I would have done that in, a bigger area like other places I love, like Portland or Portsmouth and Boston and things like that. It's such a special place we randomly landed on.
Well, that has to be a record. Like, you getting a job, your husband getting a job, finding a place and moving there with the dog in 3 days. Like, I cannot even imagine. That is truly impressive. You definitely must have found your place. So now walk us through your career path. You're working at Okemo in marketing and bring us up through to today.
I spent a year working at Okemo. It was the timing of Vail Resorts purchasing Okemo, and it was kind of an unknown time. We had kind of heard that maybe the marketing department would be kind of dissolved for the mountain, or there would be a few jobs in some capacity, but I was pretty certain that I was going to lose my job just due to the transfer to Vail. And that being said, I think that the transfer has been a great thing to happen for our mountain. There's been a lot of really good change. I know that there's some politics there and some people don't like it, and it definitely has made skiing accessible, especially for such a big resort where the volume is huge. So I kind of caught sight that I would probably be losing my job. So I then transitioned into marketing for a local real estate office, Vermont Properties. And I worked there for a few years. And then, like a lot of people, when 2020 came around and I was kind of at home for a few months, our main real estate office was on kind of we had cut back, and I was like, well, I at this point I had been doing freelance design since I was in high school, and I knew I wanted to be a graphic designer, but it was something I was scared to do. I didn't think that I could actually do it or make it work or pay my bills. So I was like, well, now's the time. Everybody else is doing crazy things and trying things out. And, why shouldn't I? I just decided, hey, I'm going to do this. Talk to my dad, who was definitely my biggest cheerleader for anything around entrepreneur, endeavors. And he's like, you got this. You should do it. So my dad passed away in October of 2020, which was a crazy time. And then about a month later, I launched my business. So I did a lot of crazy things in just a few months, but I think a lot of people did. It was a big transformative time. At that time, I was like all in. And ever since I started my business like 4 years ago now, which is crazy to me, I've been so fortunate to work with so many awesome small businesses, established businesses in Vermont, new businesses starting up across the country. So what I now do, and I identify as a graphic designer. I'm also a web designer, and my main focus is brand design. So I take new businesses or businesses that are rebranding, and I do brand research, strategy, and I design it all. So from logos to signage to business cards, really anything that needs to be designed. And I love what I do. I'm super, super grateful to continue to do something like this from my home in this beautiful state of Vermont, in this awesome town, and not have to give that up for a city life of something that I don't want to be living in.
What is the name of your company?
So my company is Wavy Grape, and I'm at wavygrape.com or Wavy Grape on Instagram, which then leads me into why I'm really here today is about Unofficial Okemo. So that's my second business that is really only operating in the winter. I try to do some summer content, but it's nice to take a little break from the digital realm and creating content so much. So my main thing is I'm a graphic designer, and in the winter, I turn into a snow reporting ski bum, truly.
And you do this with a partner, Unofficial Okemo. How did the two of you meet, and how did it get started?
Yeah, so I started this company with my best friend, Noah. So he and I met when we were working at Okemo. I mentioned before, he has grown up here. And the same winter that I started working at Okemo, he had just gotten hired as the snow reporter. So his job was 5 days a week to go ski, write the snow report, do a snow report video. And then my job was to kind of support him and marketing ideas, social media, and just kind of posting content and things like that. And then I would take his job on his 2 days off, and we kind of shared positions in a way, but people kind of started to follow us because of us. And definitely with the help of Liam, who was our video editor, he made us look really good. And we kind of became like this local phenomenon. And then once we had both left Okemo and we were transitioning into new parts of our life, we had so many people say to us, you should do your own thing. You should make your own snow reports. We love watching we just love watching you. We want to follow along. And so one day in December of 2022, I was at home recovering from an endometriosis and ovarian cyst surgery. So I was down bad for about 6 weeks, and Noah was over taking care of me while my husband was at work, like besties do. And we were chatting, and we were like, should we just like do this right now? Like, we have a couple days, like I have weeks sitting here on the couch, and I can't ski, but I could write about it. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So in a day, truly in like 8 hours, I designed our logo and our brand, designed our website, wrote our first snow report, and emailed it to 4 people, which was us, Noah and I, and our moms. And then the next day, it was 10 people. And then the next day, it was 30. And then the next day, it was hundreds. And we were shocked that people cared this much. So we were sending out a snow report, which was, as if you're a skier, you know what a snow report is. But if you don't know, we send what is a step above. So our snow reports they're super niche in a way of they're very much about our experience of skiing, not necessarily like a blanket statement of what the snow is like today. We go into depth about what trails we skied on. We talk about the one patch of dirt we saw on this very specific trail. We talk about where the icy spots are. We're very real. We're very honest. And I think that that's why Unofficial has worked. People really trust us. I am hard pressed to find somewhere where I don't get recognized these days. We have about 10,000 followers now, and these are people who come to Okemo every weekend and people who come here for their family vacations, and it has turned into something that has given me so much self-worth and sense of identity and a place in the ski industry, and also just a place of being a woman in skiing. It has really changed my life, and it's something that like I said, we just thought to do on my couch one night, and it really has fulfilled me so much.
I did go on your website and read some of the snow reports, and they were really fun. And Nicole, I think what we need is a videographer. So can we put that in for next year? Because I think that's what we're missing. That's why we don't look as awesome when we're skiing, probably.
It's all about those low angles, you got to get somebody who's willing to get in the snow. But Abby, you were making me tear up again. I cry on this podcast all the time, but I love what it did for you. And I feel the same thing. I mean, Sarah and I started this, on a whim because we weren't getting what we wanted out of the podcast world. I mean, we wanted to hear our voices, not mine specifically, but, the female voices. And it's really good to be independent because you can share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think that's what your fans really enjoy, that you're giving them an honest take, because skiing's expensive, it's time consuming, and you want to make sure people have the best experience out there.
Yeah, that's definitely become a big point of just our mission. And we have days where some people respond and they're like, thank you so much for telling me that it's death cookies out there, because I'm going to wait a few hours. Like, I'm still going to go skiing today, but I'm going to wait till it warms up. I have people that really are so invested in what we say and really take us quite literally, that it's an honor, but it's also a burden at the same time, because I don't want to lead someone down the wrong path. And sometimes, you have a different ski experience. Everyone has a different skiing ability. And sometimes it's what I say is not what you felt. But people still take snow reports with a grain of salt. And also anything that we're putting out is going to be more valuable than what really any resort is going to put out, I think. And not to say that in, pat my own back kind of way, but it is unique what we're doing, and going out physically skiing or hiking up very early in the morning, taking one run and reporting on exactly what we felt, and not just, it's machine groomed today, and that kind of generic information, which is still helpful, but people have connected to us in that way of we're just being truly ourselves. And to that to be said, is I write like I'm texting my friends. I don't sugarcoat. I'm a very honest, kind of brutally honest person by default. And sometimes I hear about it, sometimes people are like, I don't know if you should say that. And that's the joy of being a creative person with a space and a platform. I can be who I want and, say what I want. And I'm always supporting Okemo. And I truly will always stand by the fact that Okemo's conditions are top tier. The grooming and the snowmaking teams are unbelievable. There's days where I've skied Okemo and then skied other resorts and in the same day, and Okemo it blows it away every time. They rock. So I have a pretty easy job in that way. It's very rare that the conditions are meh.
So let's get into Okemo a bit more. So yeah. Nicole and I, we love Okemo. It's on the Epic Pass, right? Mm-hmm. Owned by Vail. What can you just give an overview? I know there's like 2 bases, and just, kind of some of, your inside tips and things like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So there are 2 sides of the mountain, which I think people can be a little confused of what that means, but it's all connected. So the great part about having the 2 bases is it does help move people around, and Okemo's flow, the ski traffic flow is really unbelievably good. They've really solved issues that they've had in the past with traffic. So between cars and skiers. So yeah, there's the clock tower base area, which is the original base area where the original base lodge is still there. And there's a, skiing bunny hill area where there's the snow stars are there for families dropping off their kids. And then on the Jackson Gore base area, that's where the big hotel is, and the resort's like pool is there, the gym is there, and then also the adventure zone with the mountain coaster, which if you have not been on and you visited Okemo before, you have to put that on your list. That's something that never gets old for me. Yeah, the Jackson Gore area has also ski school over there, and they're always making progressive moves to make the learning areas better. It's definitely I'm biased, but it's my favorite mountain to ski at because I'm somebody who I'm not really looking for super steep, crazy terrain. Like I'm a fair weather skier, which may sound surprising considering my job, but I want to cruise, for when you ski up to 100 days, you want to take some chill days in there. So Okemo is just the perfect mixture of terrain for me. Like if I want to really cook and I want to race my husband down, like there's trails to do that. You can hit Nor'easter and Chief. And if you want to just take a really luxury ride down, there's Sidewinder through Solitude and going through there's so many little cut through trails and there's so many magical little spots that even at 2 p.m. could still have powder on them. It's so spread out. And if you know the lifts and how to navigate, you'll have the best day. I mean, you can move around so much and you can ski all different types of terrain from something, pretty steep to some really chill kind of wide glades. The parks there are fantastic too. I don't belong there, but my partner Noah, he can definitely speak to that. And so yeah, there's so much for everybody. It's such a great, like, all-encompassing resort.
It is a wonderful place for beginner skiers for sure. There's a lot of green terrain that's protected and isn't funneled in, that there's steep, fast courses going into these areas where people are learning. I will say, I like the fact that you were talking about the two different base areas and navigating the lifts, because even somebody that has skied Okemo a number of times, if you start at Jackson Gore and you want to get over to Clock Tower, it's not exactly intuitive how to get there. So you do need a plan. It is one of those places, if you can ski with a local or somebody who knows it the first day, it's definitely helpful to do that. Or, do a lesson on the first day, because it is one of those places that you'll really benefit from figuring out the layout and you'll make better use of your time. But how would you say is the best way to kind of learn the terrain as a new family that's heading out there?
I think the best tip I could give is look at the digital ski map and note the trails that connect you to the different lifts. I think that just knowing those few trail names will really help you navigate the resort. So, for example, if you're over at Solitude, which is part of the main face of the mountain, and you want to get over to Jackson Gore, there's two main ways that you can do it. And one of them is down Lower Limelight, which is blue, but it's a pretty difficult trail especially for children. And I famously go on record saying, I hate that trail. It's my least favorite trail. It's always has a lot of traffic because a lot of people don't realize of the secret special second way that you can get down, which is through Jackalope through Solitude. Knowing those little kind of connector trails that can cut through is great to just kind of keep in your back pocket, literally if you have a ski map on you. I think that talking to people on chairlifts has become such a funny thing because I'm somebody who on most chairlift rides when I get on, people recognize me, especially because of my bright pink or bright blue Helly Hansen outfits that Helly Hansen has so generously sponsored us to wear on the mountain. So when I get on a chairlift, people typically are like, "Oh, are you Unofficial Abby?" I'm like, "Yes, I am. Would you want to take a run?" And, I offer to show someone my favorite run or answer questions or say, like, do you know where to get to next? Like, do you need any help? And really just like communicating. There's a lot of quiet chairlift rides these days. I feel like people are, not as open to talking to strangers, which, in most cases, I would say that's smart to do. I think on a ski mountain, good to kind of keep that open communication and ask questions. And as a local, offer people who are visiting, where are you from? Like, do you want to take a run? And yeah, that's kind of my favorite part when I'm skiing alone, especially, is I try to meet people and show them my favorite runs or have them tell me where they want to go and follow them and give them some tips.
We can't kind of wrap up the on mountain experience without talking about the bubble chairs at Okemo. So Okemo is in Vermont. Vermont, we get all the weather, sometimes all the weather in one day. It could start with sleet, then change to rain, then go to snow. It could be windy and cold. It could be sunny and blue skies. You just never know. But the one thing that's got you covered at Okemo are 2 bubble chairs. So tell us about those.
Yes, the beautiful bubble chairs. It's funny because when you get so used to skiing at a resort with bubbles and then you go somewhere else, you're like, oh my, my privilege is truly showing. So yeah, the bubbles are kind of exactly what they sound like. It's a normal chairlift with a bubble cover that you pull down over you. Some days when it's like very windy at the summit, the bubble will automatically drop, which if you are claustrophobic is maybe not the best for you. So just a fair warning out there as another claustrophobic person. The Sunburst 6, which is the 6-pack bubble chair on the main face, those chairs are actually heated as well. So if you've ever thought, oh, my tush is a little warm on this seat, that's because they truly are heated. It's not from the person in front of you. The bubbles, I think, have really changed how skiers decide to go skiing. I used to, at my old apartment when we first moved to Ludlow, I had a view of the mountain from the village, and I would look up, and if I saw the bubble was not moving, I would not go. That's how much I adore the bubble. They're great for having a snack if it's freezing and you got cold little hands. And it's great for children too, like having them kind of take a break from the elements for just a few minute ride.
It is interesting though, because everyone kind of needs to want the bubble down. A lot of times I find I'm the only one that wants it down. So I'm a little chilly, but I love that heated seat. But you mentioned snacks, and that's another one of our favorite topics. So tell us about food and snacks around Okemo.
Well, besides ketchup and saltines, there's a lot of really good food on the mountain. The head chef for the resort is fantastic. He actually catered my wedding, which is really cool. I did get married on Okemo. I should probably slide that in. That's how much of an Okemo girl I've become. But the food's great. My favorite snack, it's the fried pickles at the Bull, which is at the Clock Tower base area. They're gluten-free. I'm a gluten-free and dairy-free girl, so I may not have the best, traditional food snacky items that you would expect to eat at a resort, but those fried pickles, they've got a hold on me. If I park at the Clock Tower area and I start my day there, which most of the time I start at Jackson Gore because I'm over on this side of the mountain, I will definitely be snacking on those. But really, everywhere you go, the food has really been taken up a notch. Between 43 North at the little base area at Solitude, that restaurant, it is delicious. Like you can't go wrong with anything on the menu there. Even just, the standard base lodge chicken nuggets and fries, like they're so good. And also you can't forget the waffles from the Waffle Cabin. There's 2 waffle cabins on Okemo. There's one at the Jackson Gore base area, and there's one on the Clock Tower face, which you have to take the chairlift up to. So you can ski right up to it, which is a very cute thing. And kids love that. They think that's the coolest thing. So definitely getting a chocolate drizzled waffle for children. That's also like the cutest thing to take a picture of them covered in chocolate. So, and then off the mountain too, you got, Ludlow is a great foodie scene. It's kind of underrated right now. But between homestyle hotel, a family style restaurant, I'm great friends with the owners and the head chef there, Chef Mayo. He is truly, this man deserves James Beard Award. If you go, please try the sticky ribs and the garlic smashers. They will blow your mind. So that's a great local spot. Game Bird for fried chicken. I just was there the other night. It's unbelievably good and a great spot for children with arcade games. They can play games on one side of the restaurant and you can eat on the other. Sit at the bar. There's no judgment parents do. So Main and Mountain across the street from Homestyle. Unofficial actually did a collaboration with them this winter, and we had the Unofficial Spritz, which was a play on an Aperol Spritz, which is my favorite drink. It was delicious, and it became a big hit, and then it became a solid figure on the menu for the rest of the season. So that was a really cool collab that we did with them.
I've stayed there before, and the accommodations are wonderful. It's very low touch, so you kind of get a code to go in, but the room was so thoughtfully designed with lots of hooks for my gear, very convenient to the mountain. And then there was that little coffee stand, self-serve coffee stand. I loved it. And really good cocktails. I did not know about the Unofficial Spritz, which is right up my alley for sure. So I will have to try that the next time I'm there.
But I have friends that will come up just for the weekend, and I live in a tiny home. What you see here is like I only have half more of this house to show. I live in 600 square feet, so I don't have a ton of room if I have like some couples coming up to visit, and they'll stay at Main and Mountain for a night. And it's invisible service. The drinks, like you said, they're unbelievable. And they have little snacks there too, which are so good. And it's become a really awesome addition to this town. It's really brought some nightlife to the town as well. And, other great spots like the Loft at the famous Red Barn that's at the base of Okemo. Not so much, I guess, for children if you're thinking about a place to go with your kids, but definitely for lunch and like early evening, you're in the clear there. But that's where I want to go if I just want to show up in my ski bibs and, greasy hair with a hat. Like that's where I'm headed. If I'm feeling that vibe, if I want to kind of dress up and get out of my ski clothes, I'll go to Main and Mountain. Stem Winder is another awesome little hole in the wall. The food there by Chef Wendy and the owner is so good. Must try the dirty potatoes there.
And the pizza place, Outer Limits, I've taken teenagers there, very family friendly there. They have lots of microbrews. And I did a really fun beer flight. I'm not a super big beer drinker, but the fun thing about that was you got, small servings of a bunch of different, so I actually found a beer that I liked when I was there, and the pies were really good.
Yeah, Outer Limits is also owned by one of my close friends, Taylor, and her partner, Wes. And they're also one of my clients. And I had the opportunity to redesign their website over the winter. And they're such a great family-owned company, and they really do want to create a family experience there. I got to create a kids menu and like a kids drawing sheet for them, which was so fun. All Outer Limits, like space themed. Yeah, another awesome. That's a fantastic place to go with the family. Grab some really good wood fired pizzas, and even just go just to see their pizza oven. Is this beautiful tiled pizza oven with their spaceman logo on it? It's very cool. So it's a really good spot.
And what if we have one of those wintry mixed days, and maybe we want to wait and see what the afternoon is going to look like? Do you have any ideas for families if they're not going to maybe ski in the morning, what they would try to do to keep the kids entertained?
When it's wintry mix for me, I respect Mother Nature and I will stay home and sit in front of the fire. But if I had kids, I think the places I would bring them, definitely Game Bird, like I mentioned before, with their arcade games. The Spring House at Jackson Gore, where the gym is, and there's the indoor pool and hot tubs. And we're in New England. There's some kind of yucky days, but growing up, if that happened when I was a kid, my parents we were big board game families. So when you come, definitely pack some of your favorite games, huddle around the fire. Pretty much every rental and house in Ludlow has a fire. And Noah and I are the first to go out when it's raining and there's not great conditions, because there's never anyone in the lift lines, even on a Saturday. And it's always worth it. It's always a fun memory to look back on and be like, remember that day that you and I were wearing like 8 layers of Gore-Tex and we still were soaked to the bone? Like, that was so fun. So there's, some fun in the pain sometimes with that kind of thing.
Just make sure you book a room with a dryer in it. Mom heck. And I will say, on some of those days, one of the things that I would do, and I love Jackson Gore, what you were talking about, I will make a unofficial scavenger hunt. So I would give them a list of 8 things. They had to meet a guy named Joe and get him to sign the card. They had to find a ketchup packet, find a thing of saltines, find a single sock. They'd have to go to the laundry room for that. But it would keep them busy with some of these scavenger hunts. You feel free to rip that idea off. You can You could graphic design something for us and make a ski mom scavenger hunt.
I love that. And you could add on to there. I don't know if I'm sure you two are in the know about the candy mailbox.
Tell us about the candy mailbox. It has come up in our discussion groups.
Yeah, so the candy mailbox, it's actually funny. I made a Instagram reel, and that I think still to date is our highest viewed reel with like 100 million plus views or something ridiculous like that, because it's so cool. It is such a special little piece of Okemo. So the candy mailbox is a privately owned mail, like it's an actual mailbox that sits slopeside at a slopeside home on Solitude Village. I'll tell you that. I'm not going to tell you the trail because that's the fun in finding it. But it's filled with candy, and the owner, the woman who lives there, so graciously fills it up with candy. I mean, she must put like, I don't know, tens of thousands of pounds of candy in that thing a year. She keeps it stocked. It's a really cool little thing to bring your kids to. Whenever I'm skiing with little kids of family or friends, that's like the first thing they ask. Can we go to the candy mailbox? But the rule is you take one piece per run. And, you know, if you're a parent, you can take your discretion. Maybe it's one piece a day. But yeah, it's even cool just like as an adult. Like when I'm skiing by myself, I'll be like, oh, I head down to the candy mailbox, grab a Reese's or something. Kind of a hidden gem of the mountain.
Well, we always like to ask about your favorite après drink, and I'm thinking maybe it's the unofficial. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what makes about that drink and how it's different than maybe a regular Aperol spritz?
The unofficial spritz is special because it's actually used with butterfly pea flower, which if you didn't know, when you add acid to it, like lemon or lime or something like that, it actually turns purple. So our unofficial brand colors are purple, blue, and Aperol orange. It turns purple, which is special. And you can actually get a non-alcoholic version of it, so you can get one for your kid sitting out by the fireplace and in the front yard of Main Mountain there, and the kids love it too. So yeah, I think that's my go-to. I don't the most that I drink is Aperol. I don't go beyond that. I hadn't drank since I turned 21, and you know, just a lot of low ABV for me. So that's my go-to. As a pro tip, if you haven't tried before, if you're planning your trip, head to Main Mountain and grab the good old boy. No matter if you like what's in it or not, you're going to like it. That is their flagship drink. I don't like alcohol, and I like that drink. So probably the famous drink of the town, I would say.
We are so thrilled to have you. Thank you so much, Abby. Where can our moms and our ski friends find you, find more of you? When does your coverage start, and when can they make sure that they're tuning in?
For all things skiing, you can find me at Unofficial Okemo on Instagram and Facebook, and then our website is unofficialokemo.com. In the summer, you can find me over on the Ludlow Farmers Market page on Instagram and Facebook as well. That's kind of where I live for the summer. And during the winter, my snow reports and my content, I really try to post daily. And if you want to follow along with my graphic design and my personal life, you can find me at Wavy Grape, and my website is also wavygrape.com. So I'm kind of all over, and hopefully I'm not being too much of an influencer, but I think I have inevitably gotten to that point of being a little hyper local influencer, which I am so grateful for, with making all the connections that I have in this town, and with the young girls who see me and they're just like looking at me with awe of, you know, a woman in skiing that's showing up. And I'm super grateful for this position that I'm in, and just to be here in Ludlow. It's the best place on earth.
Hey, Ski Moms, it's time to elevate your après game with the new Ski Moms Après Ski Cocktail Book. Packed with delicious recipes, this book has everything you need to mix up cozy winter cocktails and refreshing sips for celebrating after a day on the slopes. From warm spice classics to creative new favorites, there's something for every ski mom. And even a few mocktails. Grab your copy now and bring a little extra magic to your next après ski gathering. You can get your copy at theskimoms.co or on Amazon. Cheers to good times and great snow.
Hey, Ski Moms, we hope you enjoyed today's episode and got some great tips for your next family ski adventure. If you had as much fun listening as we did making this episode, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on our latest episodes. And don't forget to rate and review us. Your feedback helps us bring you more of the content you love and helps other ski moms find our podcast. Plus, we love hearing from you. So whether you're on the slopes or just dreaming of your next snowy getaway, stay connected with us. Follow us on social media, share your favorite episodes with your friends, and let's keep this awesome community growing.
Hey, Ski Moms! We're thrilled to be partnering with Ulster County this year to bring you 4 seasons of family travel inspiration. Nestled in the stunning Hudson Valley of New York State, Ulster County is your go-to destination for outdoor adventure all year long. And when it comes to planning your winter getaway, this spot truly delivers. Let's talk about Bel Air Mountain, a ski resort that has thought of everything, from their expanded base lodge and standalone equipment rental center to the beginner-friendly area on top of the mountain. Yep, you heard that right. Bel Air makes hitting the slopes a breeze for newbies and seasoned pros alike. Looking for thrills? This is home to the only gondola in the Catskills and the longest vertical drop in the region. Oh, and if Mother Nature isn't cooperating, no worries. 96% of the terrain is covered by top-notch snowmaking. Looking for even more winter fun? Rocking Horse Ranch has you covered. Picture this: a beginner ski hill, snow tubing, ice skating, and a winter fun park all in one spot. And if you're feeling adventurous, how about a horseback trail ride through the snowy landscapes? It's like a winter wonderland on horseback. Get all the details and start planning your Ulster County adventure at visitulstercountyny.com. That's visit ULSTER countyny.com.